Dungeons and Dragons, a satanic ritual involving strange runes, horrifying creatures, and worst of all, maths. D&D 1st edition came out in 1974, but I'm not here to bore you with all the details of it. Hell, concentration rules alone can put anyone to sleep. I want to focus on the people who play it. I myself DM an online game most Fridays for a group of 4 individuals called the Fellowship of Bumbling Idiots, and I thought I would learn more about them.
Yeah, so my name's Maisie, I'm 23. I play Riswin, the Dwarf Cleric, and I also play Scout, the half-drow druid. Kind of forgot what Scout was there for a minute.
My name is Michael Venny. I am 27 years old, and the character I'm playing now is a fairy wizard. His name is Nox. It's one of multiple ones I've played so far. I've played a few of them.
My name is Dylan. I'm 21. My character is Elrid. He is an elf ranger that is subclassed with a rogue.
So I'm Fiona Wynn. How old am I? 37. Yes, 37. And I play Agnesa, who is a monk.
In the words of immortal DM Johnny Chiodini,
running tabletop campaigns for this lot has taken a terrible toll on me. I'm only 14 years old.
In all honesty though, I love these guys so much. I've enjoyed seeing them suffer.
Oh, that's just mean.
These are really hard questions.
If my games are tricky, I expect the same standards in my interviews. Stay in line, wench. Well, I mean, most of the time. A common belief is that a game of D&D is the players versus the dungeon master, and in some ways that is true. It's a DM's job to play every enemy the party encounters, it's their job to lay traps and present puzzles to slow their progress, but overall, D&D is a joint storytelling experience. It's the DM and the players working together to tell a story that everyone can enjoy equally. That's one of my favourite aspects of Dungeons and Dragons, but I was interested in what my players favoured.
I think it's the storytelling, choose your own adventure aspect.
I like the roleplay. So I'm a creative writing graduate. So for me, a lot of like the last 3 years of my life was all about creating stories and, forming characters and forming plots and stuff. And I love being able to do that with roleplay.
The in-depth you can get with your characters and making all characters different and trying to be new with your characters. Basically, your characters could be a good representation of what you would want to be in your life.
I like how random it can be. Like it can be you can go from a seemingly innocent village that is apparently very deadly. Like for instance, in our campaign we were at a village that turned out to be nothing but mimics.
One of these buggers.
Which was kind of spooky, especially when the village is moving. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. Would you say that all of your characters have been versions of you?
The different versions of me. I got the first one was Duroris. He was a good paladin, and he liked to be doing good things. And I'm a good person for most of the time. Then my second one was Dante. He was kind of like an evil, carefree guy, and I can be evil at times. That's why I wanted to play that one. I'm like, okay, it's the other side of me. And now Nox, he's just someone that doesn't care about anything. It just goes with the flow, and that's kind of how I am most of the time. I just go with the flow.
It's like playing a computer game, but more so because you can do absolutely anything.
Like release a deadly plague, yeah.
Like almost kill the whole world by releasing the deadly plague, yeah. Which probably wouldn't have been an option to do had I been playing a video game.
If you don't try to play and things can go wrong really quickly.
Oh yeah.
Not always a bad thing though, 'cause sometimes it can be fun. Like Agnesia throwing Red Malice. I think that was Agnesia.
Yeah.
Because it's just so fun and it can get so insane really quickly and like really deep really quickly and really emotional really quickly with like by like snap of the fingers, and I love that because like there is like no holds barred, you don't know what's coming, and yeah, it's kind of watching everyone's reaction in that moment.
I like to listen to everybody's babbling and drawing conclusions, and some people jump to conclusions like the mimics. Like instantly bad, even though they were probably not bad if I probably would think about it.
It's hard for someone not to hear about D&D in one way or another these days. Whether it be through media like The Big Bang Theory or from a friend who won't stop pestering you. Come on, just one game. Come on. Just one, that's all, one game, come on. I'm sure everyone has heard the name Dungeons and Dragons. I asked my players how they got involved with this hobby to see the different avenues one could take.
So I've always known that it was like something nerds did. And then one of my friends said that she was getting a group together to have a go at it, and I joined in with that just for a one-off.
I played like 8 years ago, but I only played half a session, and that's what first kind of got me into it. But I haven't been able to find anybody to play until recently.
My partner has a friend who basically is a DM and is a player, and basically his friend was DMing and playing in so many games. She pretty much just said, look, I'd love for you guys to join us, but there's just not space for it right now. But let me put you in touch with a friend. This guy stressed to us that he was a new DM. He hadn't really done it before. He knew the general gist, so we learned something new each session. And it was fun at first. I played a Dryad rogue called Aretha. Her dexterity was through the floor. And I basically just plugged her full of charisma thinking that could get me out of it. It didn't.
My first interaction, wasn't really the D&D game, it was more of skits on YouTube about D&D, which had progressed to watching people play D&D. I have been watching Viva La Dirt League's D&D campaign, and they're able to keep it fun, because they also incorporate their skit characters and kind of make jokes along the way.
Here we go. Charm monster! Oh, shit.
During lockdown, I wanted something to do, so I went on an internet forum and found you guys.
A couple of months before we started playing, I started watching Critical Role, and that's what mainly really got me back into it. Because I'm like, oh, this seems awesome.
Then the pandemic hit, and then I think I got into Critical Role like late 2020. So I kind of got into that, and that's kind of how that's got me into where I am now.
One of my friends from work asked me if I played, which I hadn't played by then, but I told him I wanted to. And it somehow progressed into him inviting me to an online session that was with people overseas, which is kind of cool.
It isn't a surprise that anyone can be interested in D&D, from
Nerdy-ass voice actors
to the stereotypical geek.
What?
But just how different can they get? I asked my players for some of their hobbies away from the table.
So knitting and dyeing yarn for knitting is a brand new hobby I've just picked up.
My main hobby outside of D&D is rugby. I coach rugby. That's a big part of me as a person.
I like to tinker with electronics, like either building computers or taking stuff apart and putting it back together.
I do two things in my spare time. I work and I play games.
Writing, not because of my degree. It's just because I write fan fiction, let's be honest with ourselves. I write fan fiction.
I've also built a server recently where you can connect to it remotely from kind of anywhere and kind of play games on it, but the graphics card in it kind of sucks.
I'm not ashamed of it.
Shouldn't we?
It's fun. It's just so much fun to go, you know what, let's throw all these characters in the weirdest situation possible.
Playing compute games, geocaching when the weather's quite nice.
I work in a bakery. Actually, I'm the popcorn manager.
Another hobby I would have is photography. I like to, go around, take pictures of pretty much nature so far. Got some pretty great squirrel pictures.
So for my very first creative writing workshop, I actually submitted a piece of fan fiction.
I make a lot of popcorn.
Finally, I wanted to know what my players' favourite moment has been throughout their history of D&D.
Favorite memory of D&D would be just playing with you guys, actually.
Oh.
The thing that made me fall in love with D&D was when, in the very first game I played, I was a rogue, and as far as I was concerned, a rogue just nicks stuff whenever they get the chance.
So was the recent one with the how would you want to do this for the elemental? I can't remember what I rolled for damage. It was like 38 or something. Yeah, as a DM, you got to tell me how do I want to do this. I was like, what? And it's like such a satisfying moment to be told that you got it. You were you got the monster. And so I got Scout to do like a proper Senator Palpatine ultimate power lightning hands moment to suppress the elemental.
Whenever there was an opportunity, I was stealing stuff. And like stealing stuff from the party and stealing stuff from loot we got, and we stayed in a pub, and overnight I went downstairs and stole stuff out the till. And that was just really good fun of the DM. Every time I tried to steal things, would hand me a piece of paper with what I'd managed to steal on it, so that none of the other party knew what I'd got in my bag of loot. Probably didn't endear me to the rest of the party much.
Other favourite moment, and I know this is gonna, as like campaign-wise, this is definitely gonna come back and bite us, was when he persuaded the red dragon that the vial of orc sweat, the vial of orc sweat was a sample of the Fountain of Youth, and the dragon fell for it. Honestly, that is probably one of my proudest moments because I did not think that would work at all.
Giving the dragon the
Orc
orc
sweat.
sweat. I can't wait to figure out what's gonna happen once they figure out it's not actually the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, don't worry, it's gonna be just fine.
Oh.
Well, my favorite memory happened quite recently.
Oh?
I had been torn from one of my best friends in this campaign.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was finally reconnected with my wolf companion named Rob. After what literally felt like months.
I think it actually was months. I think,
Yeah, it was
think
literally months.
I think you've actually spent more time without him than you have with him.
Right?
I'm legitimately surprised that Agnesa hasn't influenced Scout more, I guess, or hasn't tried to be like, go on, do this, do that. Because I think Scout would probably go for it, or at least give it a try.
Scout words. He's not that worldly wise, is he? I mean, what is it? We found out with the Gip Yankee were tricking him
yeah.
and making him poison people because he's too trusting.
I really don't want to kill Rob. I'm saying that now. I'm putting it on the record. If I do ever kill Rob, it will be with pure sadness in my heart.
Okay, then there will be lawyers coming towards you then. This is legal.
Yeah.
We're all basically internet randoms, aren't we?
Yeah,
We've got
that's-
nothing in common on the surface of it.
I am really excited to see what's going to happen in the future.
Admittedly, part of the inspiration for this project was a university assignment, but while talking to each of my players, it became clear to me why I love Dungeons & Dragons. I've been running this campaign for a whole year now, and there is no chance I would have gone that long if I didn't love the people involved. Talking to each of them for these interviews was great fun and inspiring in its own way. If I've played my cards right, and I haven't slacked off, this will be the 1-year anniversary of the Camerton campaign. So happy birthday, a bunch of weirdos. Here's to another year of malice, only allergies, and you wiping out all my hard work in one round.
Hello, I would like to give a quick thank you to a few people who helped me out here. Obviously my fabulous D&D group for allowing me to interrogate them, my good friends who helped me film the toss couple parts, Alex, Beth and Maya, thank you for letting me dress you up and look like fools. Also, one huge thank you to an old friend who will forever be an inspiration to me, Amy Purvis. I hope all of my projects are as ridiculous and fun as you are.